G'day, friends and fans. Welcome to Writing Corner. I'm your host, the author David Applegate, author of the book The Boyhood of Cade, book one of the Empire Elves. Grab your copy today. Links in the description below. And today we're talking about building a magic system. Now, I based my magic system off RPGs, of course. Basically, I tried to keep mine as simple as possible. You can make it as elaborate as you want to be. But if you're going to write fantasy, you are eventually going to have to deal with magic. But of course, urban fantasy, you have psychics, um, you have kung fu fantasy, you have a lot of things where chi and you have many options. But when a wizard casts a spell, it's magic. An alchemist transforms it lead into gold, it's magic. Genie granting wishes, it's magic. Kung fu wizardry, it's usually in the form of, go back to, say, a TV show like Monkey, where he can perform leaps and bounds beyond human ability. When it comes to fantasy, one of the most exciting things, of course, is world building. And of course, you can't do world building without magic in fantasy. You can try it. I mean, a lot of people do try to do fantasy without magic, but it's almost a given that fantasy and magic go hand in hand. Now, of course, with magic, you have hard and soft. Now, you have to decide what kind of magic system you want because there's different types. Now, in hard magic, you have rules. In soft magic, you have subtle manipulations. Pretty much, look at it this way: hard magic, you use magic to solve problems. Soft magic, magic causes the problems for you to solve. Now, hard magic has a clear set of rules, spells, equipment, costs, and logical limits. Soft magic, anything can be accomplished, just a matter of it's vague, undefined, enigmatic. Harry Potter is the soft magic system. Oh, well, you just have spells and rules, but those rules are subject to change at any time. Spelliarmus could be any spell. It's just a light show. Teenage wizards can take out grown adults. It's like there's no spell resistance unless they want it. You just miss. You hit them. Your spells don't fail. There's also, it's rather vague. They talk about in Harry Potter, in the classes where, oh, you're not powerful enough to kill something. Really? There's power levels in magic? We don't see that. It's the only time it's ever fucking mentioned. No, it's a soft magic system. It's just whatever the author wants it to be at the time of convenience. And of course, idiots like trade seals go, oh, 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 oh. No, I don't. As you can tell, I don't like Harry Potter and soft magic systems. I'm sorry. But of course, there are times where there are several well-known soft magic systems. The Lord of the Rings, Spirited Away in anime. That's a movie from Studio Chobi. It's one of the more well-known animes. Of course, Harry Potter, although they try to claim that Harry Potter is hard magic, but I can't really point to any hard magic system. But with hard magic systems, you have a logic, a foundation of the entire magic. Now, what you have in hard magic, you have magical effects, what it can and can't do, what it can and can't influence, and where magic comes from, and its cost. Magic has a downside. It has limits, range, area of effect, Magic users are like batteries. They have to recharge their mana. Some have to use wands, some have to use rituals, some have to say the words, some have to do, course, ingredients. Those spell you can't do a fireball without this, without a certain amount of sulfur and mix it in your hands as you say the magic words, and then blow the fireball out of your hands and hope it annihilates the enemy. You know, there are rules, logic. How powerful you are decides how powerful the spell is, and how powerful the spell is defines its range, area of effect, etc. Now, basically, the difference between hard and soft is once you establish a rule, you are specific. Rules can have exceptions, but with soft magic, it's like, oh, bewitched. I want to teleport. No, I just teleport. No range, no nothing. I can teleport more than you. No rules, no power distinctions, no cost. Harry Potter, I disarm you. Bang, I disarmed you. There. No rules. They tell you there's rules, but there's no rules. See it all the time. Sometimes they're screaming the spells, sometimes they say the spells, sometimes they don't say the spells. There's no rules. It's not like some people have this magic, some people have that magic. No rules. It's the illusion of soft magic is the illusion of rules, where you basically say it's it's harder to find soft magic than it is the hard magic. Hard magic, there are rules set in stone, but of course you can have exceptions. So I'm going to stick to hard magic from now on. Now, sources of magic: gods, demons, and planes of existence, your mind, your body, metals. There are different sources of magic. Magic gems is another common source of magic. You know, spellcaster has to need a gem, or use materials related to the spell. Like if you want a fire spell, you have to use sulfur. Want a water spell, of course, you have ice. Um, so in a desert, that makes it doubly hard. Water and ice, making magic very, very precious. Wind, it's one of the cheap cop outs. Wind magic, of course. It's all motions like fancy dancing dervishes. What are the costs? One of the most common costs is mana. The stronger you are, the more mana you have. When in a mana, it takes time to recharge. So the stronger you are, the quicker you recharge. Be clever, be resourceful, have different rules for different types of magic, I suppose. You want to say types or classes or schools of magic. But basically, when you're doing hard magic, it just keeps growing, right? But it was worth it in the end, because you've just given yourself a set of rules that basically are like the laws of physics. You want to make sure magic users aren't too powerful and the costs are balance out the magic, right? A lot of magic systems, magic is too powerful. Harry Potter, magic is too powerful. They can do anything they want, make entire buildings disappear, teleport thousands of people into at a time. They can do anything they want. Just depends on the needs of the story. Teleport into a locked room, teleport out of locked rooms. No, barriers mean nothing except when they want barriers to mean something. No, everything is basically, I call soft magic contrivances. And you see contrivances in like detective stories where the killer smokes Turkish cigarettes, or the killer made a fatal mistake. I know it, pro quo. You made a fatal mistake. I knew it was you all along. Then why is it taking you 168 pages to get to the killer instead of walking up to him and saying, oh, "Excuse me, Mr. Orient Express, I know it was all of you because you're all conspiring with each other. I have watched you for the last 2 days conspire with each other, pretending not to know each other, always exchanging glances and looks, all lying and covering for each other, giving each other alibis." Sometimes it's not that easy. Miss Marple mysteries, where they always say at the end, "Oh, I knew it was you." You, you always disappear at the same time, and the same, you disappear. I followed you. Yeah, you always never around when a murder happens. Wow, what a coincidence. But building your own magic system doesn't mean you don't have to make it a hard magic system, but I'm just warning you, a soft magic system, as audiences mature, they move away from the childhood desire to have everything conveniently go your way to where's the challenge. I actually think the worst magic systems have huge spells with huge, like, I I mean, Dragon Ball Z is fun, but they they can wipe out entire cities. There's no constraint. There's no cost. There's no. I mean, the bad guys have extreme morality. I mean, who's ever know? They'd be married magic. Could you imagine a magic serial killer in a world who could just basically do the right? Then all the serial killers would be becoming magicians, so they could stand on top of the tower and basically cast a fireball that will engulf thousands at a time with no resistance. Nobody stopped them because as soon as the hero comes from them, they teleport away. Just teleport. Heroes constantly struggling to find you. Every time they show up, you just teleport away. There's no fucking story there. If once logic kicks in, soft magic systems fall apart. However, there are ways to make a soft magic system unique and compelling. Lord of the Rings did it, and that is make magic rare, make the fear of using magic is, I mean, there's no explanation, but there's implied fear. But every time uh, um, Gandalf goes to use, Gandalf rarely uses magic. He always seems to. It's like he's afraid to use it. I mean, it's hard to put into words, but I think Lord of the Ring users understand that if you make a soft magic system dangerous to use, like there's this hidden cost, like it attracts the dark powers to you, and yeah, soft magic, and don't make soft magic system able to cast fireballs that look at Gandalf in Lord of the Rings. Even though magic was soft and subtle, he couldn't raise his staff and wipe out entire armies. Oh, he implied he could, but that was just. But what happens if he did? What is the cost? What does it attract? As we saw with the dwarves, they attracted a Balrog. Look, there must look at. Oh, sorry, actually, the dwarves. Not first, they attracted a dragon with by concentrating wealth. Then, of course, they attracted a Balrog by concentrating, you know, breaking through, breaking through the um, I suppose, but realms of possibilities. Sauron attracted dark entities that transformed and warped him into, and of course, the same with the ring wraiths. His corruption spread through the rings to create ring wraiths. But Sauron and his, dark powers. I mean, yes, soft magic systems are world destroying. That's the whole point of Lord of the Rings. And you want to create a sense of mystery and awe, you can use a soft magic system, but ask yourself, uh, what kind of story do you want? Light and is it dark and scary or full of light and wonder? What kind of magical systems do you want, and who can use magic? Who can wield magic? Sorry, who can wield magic, and how well can they wield magic? Magical creatures, what powers do they have? You can have magical powers. Um, you can make every magic user unique. Just don't make magic either so illogical that the readers will pick apart and say, "Well, if you can silence your enemies, why don't you silence them all the time? If they need to." But then, what about silent spellcasters? Well, apparently, if you paralyze them, they can't cast magic either. So, if you're paralyzed and silent, but then you have what about contingency magic and mind reading and all this other stuff? I mean, there's always you. So when you create a magic system, like it's counterbalance. Like, do you use wands? What happens if you're wandless? Okay, if you create a power level where you can basically cast spells without the use of wand, make one special, make different magic crystal balls, make them special. You know, try to make a magic system amazing where magic input make like if you're going to introduce ingredients, make the quality of ingredients, make the magic user have to. You just can't pick up a bowl. You can't just go to the chemist and get um, a sulfur and shake it on your hand and cast a spell with it. They have to maybe purify it. It has to be or roll it up into a ball. It has to be a certain quality, purity, quantities. Um, though I'm not saying you um, have to go into amazing detail, but just don't say, "Oh, yes, I need a bit of salt. I need just magician. Why can't you cast another fireball? I'm out of sulfur. Oh, I've got some in my med pack. How much have you got? Oh, about 5 grams. I might be able to, yeah, 5 grams. Multiply and say 5 by X. Oh, yeah. Let's say I'm level 5. Oh, 5 grams. Well, that's enough for five. For five little, that's enough for one fireball or 5 little balls. I can do your 5 little balls. Say there's 10 enemies. Well, I can do you 5 little balls, but they're scattered out. Well, they're too scattered for one fireball. I can only do a 5 meter fireball, but I can do 5 little ones. I might be able to scorch a few. Buy some time. Just work the magic system into the conversations. I'm trying to do it myself. Um, Magical creatures and spirits. Sometimes you don't have to describe what they do. You know, just balance the awe and wonder with rules and regulations. I mean, I bet the best, of course, Lord of the Rings, the fear of using magic, I think, is the best, although that's just my interpretation. There just might be morality, there are too few. Lord of the Rings, there are too few magic users left. There's no real description why, or how a powerful race of shape-shifting magic users got wiped out by dwarves. How many dwarves? What are the? But of course, um, Lord of the Rings is a fantasy where it was basically a fantasy about the decline of the fantasy world. That it's no longer that as the age of man approaches, magic dying out. And I want to live in a world of without magic and wonder, says the elf. Some we're leaving. Don't want this boring world. So yeah, use magic to make your fantasy world amazing, and your story will be enriched, whether you do it soft or hard. I'm just saying, I believe hard magic will make your magic system better and will make your story better, because then you don't have contrivances and conveniences. And I think the best plot twist, of course, is if mages are your weakest physically and have to rely on tactical use of weak magic to survive, rather than powerful magic users who could battle each other endlessly, hurling fireballs that can nuke cities. Although it's fun, you watch anime, it's fun, but if you but a seriously, there's that's escapism. But I mean, ultimately, your stories will fall apart if you allow a soft magic system to just be conveniences where they say, well, why doesn't the killer just put, why do they battle each other? Why is the evil guy bother to battle somebody you can't kill? Just keep teleporting it away. Just destroy city after city. And then, or worse, have a you know, frame the almighty powerful figures. I mean, if indeed, as some uh, systems suggest, like in the Lord of the Rings, magic users, can be overcome by the mundane with sheer numbers. Well, you know, wizards living in fear. Depends on the story. If you want bright and cheerful or dystopia, you can have many options. You can have many magic systems. There are so many variations out there too, like uh, magic rocks, gemstones, precious metals, uh, magic based on drawing random cards from a deck. Did explain magic, superpowers. See, superpowers is nothing more than a soft magic system, particularly superheroes. Um, their powers are always convenient. Hulk is always as strong as he needs to be, but never stronger. And of course, the same with Superman. But as you see, if you've ever read the Superman conundrum, that basically all stories have to undermine Clark's capability and be a mystery to solve, because if it relied on his powers, it would be over in seconds. Same with magic. Superpowers, if they can solve all problems, there are no problems. And there aren't no problems, there ain't no story. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, and all that fun stuff. Support the channel. Links in the description below. To buy my book, the links are in the link tree. To support, you can make a direct donation through once-off payment through Ko-Fi and PayPal, or I have two patrons, one for role-playing games based on my books, and of course the writing Patreon, where you can gain access to my current work projects. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you all in the next video.